Walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. Let's walk the talk.
Welcome back, Bishop Gigi. You were narrating about what you thought was a side hustle, but later it gave you a platform.
Yes.
And it became like the main hustle. What about it?
Yeah, so I was just giving that example that having been in the teaching profession, I found that I could be able to become. And you see, that side hustle now, what it did is that it complemented what I was doing. Because by writing a book and I'm a teacher, could only make me a better teacher. So there was no conflict, as so to speak, in terms of what I did. And every year I would be able to produce 2, 3, 4 books. Even up to date, every year I write at least 3 books. And this now goes well to be able to help me in terms of my career progression and also impacting to the many people that I have to impact on a daily basis. So that's what I'm trying to encourage our viewers today, that they can pick up something that is passionate, something that also complements that which they do, something that is totally off, and something that is emanating from the hidden passion and ideas that they harbor in their life, and also something that maybe in future they would want to venture into, whether it's during the retirement or during the time they will not be in that employment.
I can relate your teaching career and writing books, and those are two things that they work hand in hand. Does it mean that side hustle must kind of look whatever you're doing as a main hustle?
Not really, because sometimes you find, and I'll give examples, you'll find somebody, maybe you are employed in a bank, you're an accountant, but you can still become a good farmer. It's not that the farming and the accounting are really like related as such, but again, that your passion, you have a passion of doing that. I'll give you, there's an example of somebody that I know, who is a friend of mine. This person bought a dog, actually 2 dogs, a male and a female, the German Shepherd type. And the first time it gave birth, 12, those puppies were born. And out of that, an idea came, because people started asking, like, just keep 1 for me, keep 2 for me, I need this breed, I need that breed. And he became the biggest dog rearer, and he does now great business in dogs. Something that started like a fun. I know a dog, and therefore you pick it after that.
Actually, maybe he bought them as a pet.
Yeah, they were, but now there are so many here. What do happen? Selling one at 10,000, 20,000. So with that, he started now looking for more information about them. He'll look at the veterinary services. They will be immunized. They were attended. He has driven to employ somebody cleaning the kennels and keeping them up. And he became even a breeder of dogs. It never started because he went looking for capital to buy dogs to come and put, but they were just there, and he saw the way they are breeding, and he picked up that. So I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. And I started by saying, if you find that you have a side hustle that is training you, that probably is not a good match for you. Because a side hustle should be able to flow within you. They may be unrelated to what you do, but I also here want to add, never start a side hustle that competes with your business or with your main job. Because you also need to be responsible, accountable, and you must declare, should you begin any job that is conflicting with the one that you've been employed to, we always say you must always declare to your employer, because that would be tantamount to breach of contract, it will be tantamount to a conflict of interest. So like now you can't move here and do a side hustle that is related to whatever you
Definitely.
do. Basically, that will not be ethical. It is immoral, because it's not right.
I like the part of that. It is unethical. How can someone start a side hustle?
Yeah, so starting a side hustle, I want to give like steps so that maybe I can guide for those who would want to begin.
Sure.
One, I want to encourage them that starting a side hustle is not a big thing. Sometimes you don't have to go and take a loan to start a side hustle. Sometimes you don't have to go and invest so much as a side hustle. It is a side hustle, you should be able to begin where you are. And maybe I'll give examples of some of the side hustles you can begin so that you also start to appreciate that side hustles don't have to be that big thing. You don't have to buy a Uber car and that's your side hustle because you either require so much money which you don't have. Don't go take loans to a business that you're not committed 100% into it, because if it fails, then the loan will not fail to pay. The loan will continue to be serviced even when your business has failed. I have seen people, one, we are living in digital era. There is a lot of business within our digital platform, the e-commerce. There are people who are buying and selling without touching any of the goods. They look at where it is and then they only become the middleman. They are able to go to a digital platform, see things. When the customer is ready to pay is when they go pick it and take it. That's a business, a side hustle, which you can do at the comfort, even when you're in the traffic or with your phone, you can be able to do it. I've seen people who are doing graphics. In fact, I had somebody who has done a very good job somewhere, and I think archiving information. So he does just graphics for no reason. Just draw, he can draw a boy playing a ball, and then when that accumulation of stock, he is able to sell them not only to media houses, he is able to sell to publishers, he is able to sell them to content producers. He is able proactively because he has a passion of drawing. So he thinks about a story. He can read a storybook even for the kids at home. And out of them, he is able to develop an image of it. And then he is able to come out. If you can do that, do that. Other things that you can be able to do is that converting some of the things that you don't need to use at home to become your mainstay. What do I mean? For example, you have a compound, you have a house, and maybe outside there, you can either rent it out for a kiosk, and you may not even be keeping it, but it is giving you a resource. It's giving you the revenue that you require. You can convert, maybe some of us have got a home in Nairobi, you have a home in the rural areas. What does a rural home does? Maybe nothing. Convert it to something else. It can become a community library. It can become a social hall if it's a big one. It can become an office of whoever wants to get an office there. Try to see from whatever you have, what can you do with what you have.
If you check like the issue to do with financial stress and maybe the low paying salaries, and most of the people, because of this reason, tend to do side hustle, maybe without any plan. Just because I'm receiving a low amount, or rather a low salary, I now tend to go to side hustle. What can you tell such kind of an individual? Maybe I was driven to side hustle because of my financial stress. Not that I had passion in it, because I understand side hustle is out of the passion. But now this is out of a circumstance.
Yeah, they say that necessity is the mother of invention.
Once more.
Necessity is a mother of invention. In other words, people invent, they discover, they unearth great things during times of crisis. Today in the morning when I came for this show, around one of the places around here in Nairobi, I found 3 cars that were parked by the side. All their boots were open. To check is that they had converted their cars into a kiosk. One was selling fruits. There's another one who was selling arrowroots and sweet potatoes. Another one was selling green maize. They had opened their cars, they had parked. In fact, there were 3 in a row. And therefore, all of a sudden, with a lockdown in Nairobi, with things not moving, with jobs losses, what happens? That is a necessity. It's a problem that caused somebody to think beyond. The way I was saying, convert. So they converted their car. They don't have to build a shed, and therefore the car became the mobile shop that they have. And some are doing that. We have also seen people even making like the mask. They take pieces of clothes, they cut into pieces, they make the strings, and then they sell. People are making sanitizers. That is a side hustle. And there are people who are also making a lot of money through that. You can assume we are 47 million people in Kenya. Everybody is using a mask maybe within a week, maybe at 1 week you have to change. How many millions of such are required in Kenya? Many. There are people who see opportunities in even the chaos. So I want to tell the people that you'd want to start that they are driven by necessity. They don't have enough. That is still good enough, because that's what I'm saying is like they are squeezed by circumstances to be able to start to think, because sometimes at our comfort zone we don't think, and therefore we don't bring our best. So no matter whether it's out of passion, out of hobby, or out of necessity, the truth of the matter is you have started a side hustle. Maybe just to encourage them is that why it should not fail is that they must be able to give it a plan. It should not serve an immediate need to an end. They should be able to start seeing it something that is going to run over a period of time and progress and grow. Because that way it will give you what we call as financial freedom, and everybody is looking for that financial freedom to have. So I think that's what I would tell our viewers. Begin, whether it's out of necessity, push it through, it will reward you, and you'll be able to get that financial freedom that you require.
Just to take you back a bit, what do you mean exactly when you talk of our comfort zones?
Yeah, you see, it's where we become complacent. In other words, we become so relaxed. It's as if whatever is happening around our life will remain so forever. You may be in an employment, and we have seen people in government offices driving big cars given by parastatals and government and corporates and private companies. But the moment either they retire or the moment something happens and they cannot keep that job, they are not able to really adjust. So these people, we say, they have lived in their comfort zone. They thought the status quo will remain forever. Let me tell you, nothing remains forever. There's nothing that is permanent in this world. The only thing that is permanent in the world is change, because change will always be there. Change is permanent because there will be changes every other time. Like now the world is experiencing the pandemic of the virus, the coronavirus. What is it telling us? We have to change the way we do things. Our comfort has been shaken. It can never be business as usual. Wow. I'll tell you, I ran a school, have a school. The school are closed. So who is paying school fees? No one. So where do I get money? If I say that I have a school, then I can be taking holidays to Madagascar and wherever, and Comoros Island, because I have a school. And then such a change comes, and then the school are closed for a year. Then what happens? Then you sleep hungry. So what I'm saying is that we have to challenge our comfort zone. We have to shake ourselves a little bit and think. You must be in control of what comes into your life. Maybe just to finish that part, I would say a statement that somebody told me that depending on salary alone is the best witchcraft that one can ever have. The best witchcraft is depending on salary, because salary is a controlling mechanism. You look at your payslip, it determines which house you're going to stay, the kind of car you're going to drive, the school your children are going to. And if your employer wants you to drive a better car, they can adjust your payslip. It is, and therefore witchcraft is a control, is whereby you are controlled by a force other than yourself. But you need to take charge of yourself by doing a side hustle that you have a little bit more control over, where you know that extra effort will mean extra reward, and find that you have that freedom to be able to decide the course your life takes.
Wow, this is so amazing. Challenge your comfort zone. Nothing in this life is forever. It is only change. Bishop Gigi, what is your parting shot?
So side hustle is for everyone. We are all gifted to do something beyond what we normally do today. Scientists will tell us that we only use 25% of our brain. 75% of our brain is still idle. It can still think. It can still be activated to do something different. So I have my own company called Signature Marvel. This is where we also train and motivate and encourage and inspire people who want to make a meaningful change in their life. If they want to, anyone who would want to reach us at Signature Marvel, they can contact me on my number 0700 659488. Thank you so much.
We've come to the end of our journey today, and I'm believing that we are somewhere far. Challenging our comfort zone is one of the key things that I've attained today. Until next time, keep it Walk With Me show with me, RK Favored.
Walk with